Uh, Please always remember the two main things, which are you don't need to keep looking at the screen if you don't want to, because I'm always aware that that can be tiring. So if you want to just close your eyes and listen and be guided, that's absolutely fine. And the second thing is, if we do any movement, it's always very, very gentle. But if you're tired and you want to rest out completely, that's fine. So, in fact, this session is all about the importance of listening in and not necessarily taking notice of external clues, but being much more tuned into your internal cues. So, you can use this practice today to practice that, to listen in. So, if what I say doesn't resonate with you, or you feel that you would rather rest out, that's much more important. So we're going to start from sitting, but as always, if you would rather lie down, that's absolutely fine. If you would like to sit, I suggest you have a dining room or a kitchen chair, a bit like I've got today, because that just helps the back to be upright and feet on the floor or maybe something under your feet. So you've got a nice upward posture, because this helps with our breathing, and how we breathe affects our energy. So let me just check everything. Yep, okay. So what does self-care mean? And we're going to kind of come onto that as we go through the practice. But I think for a lot of us, particularly if we're women living in, and I know not everybody here is a woman, but I'm just going to say that it seems to be quite a female thing in the Western culture, is that we are taught to put other people before ourselves at all times. And that's not always a bad thing, but of course it can lead to the detriment of our health and our energy and our own well-being. So there is this expression, put your oxygen mask on before you put on anybody else's. And for many of us, that's quite a struggle. So I mentioned that I just had a retreat. I know a couple of you are here from that wonderful week that we had in Spain. And the theme of our week was self-care. And I asked the group, what they got most out of self-care. And they were talking about rest. And I think rest is still considered to be a bit of a dirty term in our culture. It's something that is not appreciated, or the idea of convalescence isn't appreciated. So again, we're going to come to this in the practice, but I just like you to consider, how much rest do you think you need? And do you feel guilty when you rest? And do you find rest difficult? Do you find it actually difficult to switch off and really let go and let the nervous system come into that lovely state of rest, relaxation, and recalibration? So we're going to start by just becoming aware and tuning in. So come to a comfortable position, whether that is sitting or lying. And if it's okay for you, just close your eyes and take a moment or two to do the check-in. So the question to ask is, how am I? How am I? And very often we don't stop to ask ourselves this question. We don't take time to notice. And if we've got anything uncomfortable there, very often we push it away, or we distract ourselves from it rather than to stay with it. So just see what sensations you've got there, and see if there are any messages from your body. So you might have feelings of discomfort, for example, or even dread or fear. Or maybe you haven't. But what I'm inviting you now is to allow those messages to be as they are, so that you're not resisting them. And if they have a message for you, just pay attention to that. And if they don't, that's okay too. But just see if you can see how the body is, how the mind is, how the emotions are. And this is the art of listening to the whispers before they become shouts. So in my own case, I'd just like to share that I had burnout before I had ME, but we didn't really use that term then, and I didn't know what it was. So I was constantly pushing away the whispers of my body, and I was pushing through. And then in the end, I became ill with a virus and I went back to work far too quickly because I still pushed through and I didn't pay attention. So just ask yourself, does any of that resonate true for you? And is there a way in which you can rest more and not have this idea of pushing through? And then because we're looking at our somatic experience, what our body is saying to us, we want to ground first. So if you're sitting, have a sense of where your feet are and have a sense of inhabiting your feet. And if you're lying, just be aware of the soles of your feet if your knees are bent or the heels if your legs are out straight. So really pay attention to the sensation of your feet and even the skin around your feet. Feel the temperature of the soles of the feet. Feel any vibration or sensation in the feet. And be aware of what surface your feet are touching and the temperature of the surface of what you're touching, which is probably different from the temperature of the feet themselves. So just pay attention to all these things to help you to ground. And then bring your awareness to your hips. And if you're sitting, just feel the support of what your hips are sitting on. If you're lying, feel around the base of your spine. So this is Muladhara chakra. And again, feel if there is any message around your hips or from your feet that is being conveyed to you. And then become aware of your breath, if that's okay for you. And just spend a moment or two observing your breath without trying to change it. And then if it's comfortable for you, breathe in through your nose and allow the breath to begin to slow down. And then another reflective question as you're just following the inhalation and the exhalation is, what are my boundaries? Am I able to say no to other people in order to look after myself? What are my boundaries? Am I able to say no to other people in order to care for myself when I need to? And I know this isn't always easy, particularly if we've got children or partners or sick relatives, but we cannot care for others unless we care for ourselves first. And then to remind us about breathing, take one hand to the heart, the other to the belly. And think of the breath being slow and low. So the hand on the heart is pacifying the chest area, and the hand on the belly is just moving slightly. So it's not a great, big, huge, deep breath. But the breath is lower down, so we're using the diaphragm. And then today we're going to use something called the coherent breath. So I'd like you, if you can, to breathe in for an even inhalation and an even exhalation. And you can use what ratio or count works for you. Or you don't need to count at all if you don't want to. But you can breathe in for a count of 3 or 4. And then breathe out for a count of 3 or 4. So an even inhalation and an even exhalation. slow and low through the nose. So just try that for a few slow rounds. Just feeling that hand slightly rise and fall on the belly. Have the jaw relaxed, the areas around the eyes relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Just thinking about an even breath, which is helping the whole system to become calm. And then drop the hands back beside you or down to your knees. And then we're going to hum the breath out for the next 5 breaths in your own pitch and your own breathing rhythm. This is helping to have a nice, long, smooth exhalation, but also humming helps in many, many functions to the body. In particular, it tones the vagus nerve. So inhale through the nose, exhale. So up to 5 times in your own breathing rhythm. And then releasing the breath now. Again, do the check-in. How am I? Just observing if the breathing and the coming into the body has made you feel any different. Without judgment, just with curiosity. And another reflective question as you're doing the check-in is, how can I apply better self-care? Remember, a reflective question doesn't demand an answer immediately. You're just dropping it into the silence. The question being, how can I, in my daily life, apply better self-care? That might just be taking more micro breaks, doing more yoga nidras from YouTube every day. It might mean checking in with the breath more frequently. And it might mean remembering not to push through from one thing to the next, but resting in between activities and learning to say no, knowing that it's okay to say no for your own well-being. And then before we come down to lying, we're just going to do some lovely somatic holds, which again help to bring us more into our body. Because when we're in our body, we're able to apply this method of listening to our body signals, what they're telling us, what they're asking us, knowing that we need to rest, maybe telling us when to stop when we need to, because when we're not in our body, we don't listen to those cues. So some of you know these somatic holds, you've done them with me before, but if not, it's always nice to do them or to learn them. So we're going to start by holding our cheeks with our hands. So just cup one hand either side of, just hold the cheeks in the hands. So we're cupping the chin in the heel of the hands. And we're going to take 3 slow breaths here, 3 mindful breaths. Slow breathing through the nose if possible. Just feel that you are nourishing yourself, nurturing yourself, holding yourself. And then when you've taken those 3 breaths, take one hand to the forehead and one hand to the back of the neck and hold here for 3 slow, mindful breaths. And then take the hand that's on the back of your neck and take it to your heart. And if you want to swap your hands, you can do so. 3 slow, mindful breaths here. And then the hand that's on the forehead, bring it to the belly. And then 3 slow, mindful breaths here. And just feel that you are in your body, you're inhabiting your body, allowing everything to be as it is. And then when you're ready, drop your hands to your knees. And then we're going to come down to our bellies now. So we're going to start by resting in Shavasana on our front. So obviously, if that doesn't work for you, you can stay sitting or you can lie on your back. But if you're able to, please come down to your front. This is a very good position for helping us with our breathing. So when you're on your front, and I will demonstrate if you do need to look up, you can either lie on your front with your cheek on one side and the arms either side of the body, or you can fold your hands so your elbows are out either side, resting your forehead on the back of your hands. So you decide which method works best for you. And then just rest here. So legs are out straight, heels apart, toes may be curling in towards each other. And just rest. Allow yourself to let go more and more on every exhalation. And then become aware of your breath. Now, in this position, you've got a large area of the lungs free because your lungs actually go around the back and the rib cage around the back. So just start by visualizing that you're breathing into the back. And visualize the breath as white light, prana. So as you breathe in, breathing through the nose, you're breathing in white light into your back. And this is energy or prana, which is nourishing you on every in-breath. So just feel that white light filling up your back, but also traveling to the whole of your body, filling you with prana. And then releasing that visualization and moving your head if you need to. So if you've got your cheek on one side, you might move it to the other side. Become aware of the belly. And as you breathe in, feel the belly slightly push against your support. As you breathe out, it releases. So just be aware of that movement. This is the diaphragm helping with the breath. The breath is life. Breath is prana. The breath is what will heal you. And then we're going to, from this, do a very gentle back bend, but it's so gentle that it's almost like you can rest here. So this is called the Sphinx. So what you're going to do is lift your heart up, bring your elbows under your chest and together, and just rest on your hands and on your forearms. If you need to look up, please do. So your belly is still on your support, shoulders are back and down towards your heels and your support. And the back of the neck is long. So there's kind of activation in your back. There's this theory of sthira and sukham in yoga, which is that a posture is alert but also relaxed. So you're alert but not tense. And your heart is lifted. And just breathe for a few breaths. And then come back down to the mat. But this time, take your chin to your mat. Make fists and just bring your fists under your hip bones. So your arms are straight, as if you're lying on your arms. And then we're going to breathe in and lift the right leg, keeping the pelvis down. Exhale and lower. Breathe in, lift the left leg. Exhale and lower. And if that's enough for you, rest out, remembering this principle of self-care. Otherwise, you might like to do that once or twice more on each side with the breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. Even number of times on each side. And then again, resting, either head to one side, arms either side, or folding the elbows, resting the head on the back of the hands. So you decide which feels best for you. Always remembering this principle of self-care. We also have another word in yoga, which is ahimsa, which is from the Yoga Sutras. And it's the very first of the yamas and niyamas, which are the principles by which we live. And ahimsa means non-violence. So that's the basic principle of yoga. But non-violence starts with how we treat ourselves. So self-care is also about treating ourselves with kindness. So just rest for a few breaths. Again, just let your awareness drift around your back, observing how the back is feeling. Keeping your awareness in your body and the breath. The breath or the body being your anchor to the present moment. Always remembering that when we are present, there is no problem, nothing more to deal with than what is here right now. And then we're going to do a few optional cat movements if you would like. Otherwise, just remain lying on your back. But if you'd like to try the cat, and you can do this from a chair as well, bring your hands to your chest and just push to come up into an all fours position, a tabletop position. And you have your hands under your shoulders, knees under hips. And then take your weight over your knees. So you've not got too much pressure on your wrists. And do use any blanket if you would like, or support. So if you want to put a towel maybe under your knees or under your hands, you can do so. We're just going to take some very gentle movements. We're going to inhale to lift the heart and exhale to round the spine. Navel to spine on that out breath. Relaxing the head down. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, navel to spine and arch. Just doing this a few times in your own breathing rhythm. And then coming back to a neutral cat, we're going to hum our bottom towards our heels like this. We're going to inhale, lift the heart, exhale. Inhale, come forward, lift the heart, exhale. So just a few times in your own breathing rhythm, remembering to listen in order to listen to those sensations and cues about when you need to rest. So keep your awareness in your body, knowing when it's your time to rest out. And then when you're ready, you can either rest into pose of a child if that's okay for you. Open the knees wide, bring the arms forward, take the head either towards your support. You can make two fists and rest your head on your fists, or if that's not comfortable, lie on your back. So again, have this focus of listening in. What feels right for me? So that you are always in the driving seat. You are in charge. And this is an attitude that you take in your daily life. You're listening into how you are feeling. And you're taking control. You're being autonomous. But you can only be autonomous in a way that's nurturing for you when you're listening in and paying attention. And I don't mean like a kind of neurotic panic about what your symptoms are saying. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean listening in with tenderness and care. When do I need to stop? When do I need to rest? When do I need to say no? So now we're going to do our yoga nidra, and I've got a really lovely one for you this morning, which I found, which is all around self-care. So I'm going to give you a moment or two to lie down in a way that's comfortable. So that might be on the floor, on a bed or a sofa. And please do think about blankets or eye masks or cushions, whatever you need, something under your head, something under your knees, whatever you need to make yourself feel really supported and comfortable. And I'm just going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to start in about 3 minutes, but I'm just giving you a bit of time to get ready, and I'll see you when we've finished. And do remember, especially as it's a bank holiday if you're in England, that if you want to stay resting after we finish, you don't need to sit up. I will guide you up and out of the deep relaxation, but if you want to remain however you are, that's fine too.